You've probably heard of Africanized honeybees, or as the media lovingly calls them, the killer bees. Yeah, because that's always a comforting name for something with wings and a stinger. Back in the 1950s, some genius scientist decided to improve regular bees by crossbreeding them with a more aggressive African strain. The goal? Better honey production. The result? A species so hostile it made wasps look like emotional support insects. When a regular bee feels threatened, it might sting you once. But when an Africanized bee feels threatened, it calls your entire bloodline. They spread throughout Africa like fake news on Facebook, and these bees have been turning picnics into death traps and making gardeners seriously reconsider their hobbies. But at least they were predictable. Well, that is until now, because lately, the bees aren't just angry, they're evolving. And trust me, when something that angry learns to think, it's not honey they're after anymore. It started somewhere near the Congo Basin. Locals called it the black bloom. Beekeepers noticed that their hives had begun producing a strange, almost oily honey, darker than tar, metallic in taste. Within weeks, every colony within 50 miles was dead, replaced by a new kind of swarm, violent, restless, unyielding. They weren't just aggressive, they were organized. Scientists said it was some kind of mutation, but no one could explain how these bees could mutate this fast. I was part of the response team that consisted of an entomologist, a pathogen unit, and a CDC contract. You can probably guess that I was the bug catcher. Anyways, we were tasked to collect the samples of these odd honey and whatever samples we can find. We expected to see another hybridization incident. Instead, we found carnage. Whole villages wiped out, bodies swollen with stings, faces frozen mid-scream. But what terrified me the most weren't the corpses. It was the people who were still alive. They wandered barefoot through the fields, covered in sting marks that oozed black honey. Their eyes were glazed, mouths twitching, whispering to something that wasn't there. When we approached, one of them turned to us. His pupils had gone completely amber. He smiled and said, "She's calling." "Who's calling? What are you even talking about?" I asked, but the local limped away as if he was in a trance. We took samples back to the lab. The venom was like nothing we'd ever seen. It wasn't just neurotoxic. It was reconstructive. It rewrote nerve tissue. It built new synapses, new muscle fibers. Not randomly, but purposeful. The venom didn't kill. It transformed. 2 of our team members got stung before quarantine. Within 48 hours, they were unrecognizable. First came the auditory hallucinations, the sound of bees whispering through walls. Then came the hunger, the scratching, and then the endless urge to dig. By day 3, their fingernails began to calcify, darken, until they curved into something between claws and talons. They started digging tunnels into the ground beneath the facility. We thought they were delirious, until we saw what they were building. Honeycomb. Human-sized honeycomb. One of them, Keller, begged us to kill him before it was too late, said he could feel the hive growing inside his chest. When he died, we opened him up. His lungs were webbed with wax, his ribs fused together like a cocoon, and at the center, nestled where his heart should have been, was a living larva. The mutation spread faster than any disease in history. No airborne vector, no fluid transmission. All it took was a sting. You wouldn't even notice it at first, just a small welt. Then the itching starts, then the humming. Victims begin wandering, barefoot, sleepless, drawn by something no one else can hear. They walk for miles until they find a nest, and when they do, they kneel beside it like worshippers, digging their hands into the soil, whispering prayers to the queen they've never seen. They don't eat, they don't drink, they just build. The UN tried to quarantine entire continents. They burned forests, flooded fields, even nuked hives. But it was futile. For every swarm they destroyed, 10 more rose up from the ashes, and the infected, they weren't human anymore. Their bones started to reshape, shoulders hunching, skin hardening into a translucent amber shell. Fingers became claws, and their mouths fused shut, leaving only a thin slit that leaked honey when they breathed. They didn't speak anymore. They buzzed. I've seen them up close. They don't attack for food. They don't kill for pleasure. They protect something buried deep beneath every nest. In one of the quarantined zones, we found an underground chamber made entirely of black honeycomb, hundreds of meters wide. And in the center was a pulsating mass like an enormous heart beating. The walls trembled when it moved, and every infected human in the chamber was kneeling around it, clawing at their own chests. They were feeding it. We detonated charges to destroy it. The explosion wiped out the site, but 3 days later, the same structure appeared 50 miles away. Same pattern, same resonance frequency. That's when we realized the hives weren't spreading by migration. They were replicating through us. The venom doesn't just alter your mind. It plants a blueprint. Every infected body becomes a builder, a host constructing another hive. And once it's complete, they lie down inside it and harden, their flesh turning to wax. They become part of the structure. I've been stung. I know what comes next. At first, it's fear, then peace. The buzzing isn't noise anymore. It's a song, beautiful, endless. Sometimes I can feel my fingers stiffening, my nails ache, my skin feels tight, like something underneath is trying to push through. I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror yesterday. My eyes, they've gone amber. I don't remember when I stopped blinking. I don't know how long I have left, but I can hear them now outside the shelter, scratching, humming. They're not trying to kill me. They're calling me home. I think I can see it now. The queen. She's enormous, beautiful, glistening with black honey, and she's waiting for me to stop resisting. If anyone finds this recording, don't come looking. Don't go near the hives. Don't follow the sound, because once they sting you, you'll want to protect them. You'll need to, and when your claws grow in and the buzzing fills your head, you'll understand the truth. You were never human. You were just waiting to hatch. So come, join our hive. We're waiting